us. We have to honor them, whatever their faith, whatever their tradition. We can disagree with them on certain things, but when they stand up for what's right, we should be there to affirm that. I want people to go home and write a letter to Michael Bloomberg, write a letter to that man, write a letter to the New York mayor's office and say congratulations for speaking up as an American, for defending the right of a man to dissent. Congratulations. Thank God there's still people in this country that are not capitulating to the worst forms of jingoism, of xenophobia, of hate speech. They're not conforming to it. Thank God there's still people that are willing to stand up and say, I might not agree with this man, but he has every right as an American to say what he believes. Because freedom of speech is part of this country's heritage, and we have to defend that right. And I'm glad that I'm here right now in this state of New Jersey, and I can say what's in my heart. Because I don't want an America where I have to be afraid of speaking the truth, where I'm going to be confused with some Qaeda sympathizer because I'm saying what's wrong with America. And the only reason I want to say what's wrong with America is so we can change it to what should be right with America. Because this is a great country. It's a country that has an immense amount to offer humanity. The CDC, if the flu virus breaks out, everybody in the world's going to be hoping that the CDC comes up with a solution. Really, they want the Center for Disease Control to be monitoring these things. There's things that happen here, there's research, there's development that are beneficial, but there's other things that are wrong. And we need to be balanced with how we look at this country. We need to be fair. Our discourse needs to be fair. It needs to be free from the left. It needs to be free from the right. Religion is not left and religion is not right. It's straight. That's religion. It's straight. The Prophet ﷺ said to Sufyan bin Abdullah when he said to give him some advice that he couldn't ask anyone else. لا أسأله غيرك يا رسول الله. He said, قل آمنت بالله ثم استقم. Say I believe in God and then be straight. Be straight. That's the way Muslims should be. We have to be straight. Straight as arrows. If you look at what happened in Denmark, my question to the Muslims is, did we contribute in the drawing of those pictures? Did we contribute in the drawing of those pictures? We have to ask ourselves that question. Are there things that Muslims are doing out there that are creating a wrong impression of what Islam is, of how it should be practiced in the minds of other people? We need to ask those questions about our own community. Because I don't want to contribute to that picture. That is a distorted picture of my Prophet ﷺ. But if I'm not living up to his teaching, I'm distorting his teaching. If I'm not living up to his teaching, and you cannot defend the honor of the Prophet by dishonoring his teaching. It's just not possible. You cannot defend his honor by dishonoring his teaching. Every single Muslim is an ambassador of La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah. And an ambassador is very careful in his speech and his actions, because it's all interpreted. An ambassador represents a state, a nation, and when he meets with the head of state of another nation, he's very careful in what he says, and he'll only convey what he's been told to convey. He will not extend his discourse, because if he does, he gives wrong messages. Like April Glaspie when she met with Saddam Hussein. She gave him a wrong message. You see, she gave him a green light. She said, we're not involved in any inter-Arab disputes. So he said, okay. And he invaded Kuwait. And boy, did he learn his lesson, you see. So ambassadors can really be dangerous, right? And they need help. You see, these people need help in understanding what Islam is. They need help in communication. One of the things that I saw when I went to Denmark is they were clueless. They couldn't believe what happened. Really, they were clueless. We interviewed most of the people that were interviewed on the streets. They were completely opposed to the cartoons. Completely opposed to them. The Danish people, they're very polite people, most Danish people. I mean, I've been to Denmark 3 times. They're incredibly polite people. That's how I found them. They also had one of the finest refugee programs in Europe, which is why many Somalians, Bosnians, and other refugees went to Denmark. And part of the problem is the Muslim community has not honored that. fact, the Muslim criminality is higher in Denmark than other communities. There's problems. There's social problems amongst the community. But I was really struck by that fact that a lot of these people were clueless about this situation. We need to help them understand religious identity is no less central to a believer's life than racial identity is to other people's life. If you denigrate race, it's unacceptable. It's unacceptable. It should be unacceptable in civilized discourse to denigrate people's religion, because that's their identity. My identity is Muslim. It's more important than my identity as a Scots or a Scotch-Irish or a Greek, whatever. All those ethnic things that are flowing in my blood. If somebody makes fun of haggis or makes fun of kilts, Scotch people wear dresses, something like that, it's not going to bother me. But if you denigrate, a black person in this culture or a Jew or people, they'll condemn it. They'll say that's wrong. It took a long time to get to that day when it was wrong. But if you condemn a Muslim, if you make fun of a Muslim, if you poke fun of a Christian today on television or do a skit about Mary or Jesus, people don't seem to take a lot of offense unless it's their religion. And so things need to change. We need to educate people about identity. The religious identity is no less, in fact, it's more important than racial identity. And just as we don't accept denigration of race, we should not accept denigration of religion. That does not mean you can't criticize religion. Criticize Islam all you want, but do it fairly. Don't do it filled with lies, because that's a lot of what they're doing. But these people need help. They need help understanding, interpreting. So a letter came to the State Department. This is how bad things get. A letter came to the State Department from Cairo. There was somebody there who had to leave under difficulty. He said, "أنا مضطر أن أخرج من مصر تحت ظروف قاهرة." I'm forced to leave Egypt in extenuating circumstances. The Arabists who got the telegraph in the State Department, he did back in the 50s. He translated it, "I'm forced to leave Egypt hidden in envelopes made in Cairo." تحت ظروف قاهرة. You see, seriously, that's a problem. When they don't know Allah means God, we're in trouble. That's a problem of translation. I was mentioning earlier today, somebody was complaining about Franklin Graham. And I said I met him. He actually shook my hand, and I found out later he considered Muslim devil worshippers. I wouldn't shake hands with a devil worshipper. Maybe, I don't know, I'd call him to Islam. But we have problems. Seriously, we've got serious problems of translation, of understanding. Now, finally, I'd like to say, Joseph Nye, he's an interesting man, but he's at Harvard, and he wrote a book about soft power and hard power, which is a very interesting concept. One of the things that he said is power. The nature of power is of two types. The hard power is military power. It's the ability to force people to do something. That's hard power. Soft power is persuasive power. It's the power to make somebody want to do something that you want them to do. And he said that America uses too much hard power. It doesn't utilize its soft power enough, and it has a lot of soft power. And so he argues that we should be using soft power as a country, as opposed to hard power. Because if you want to win hearts, you don't drop bombs on their heads. It's as simple as that. If you want to make people love you don't drop bombs on their head. Seriously. Because they won't. They just won't like you. And the greatest recruitment for Al-Qaeda, I'll give advice to the State Department any day on this one. The greatest recruitment for Al-Qaeda is a current American foreign policy. That is the greatest recruitment, and we want to stop that because we don't want to see their ranks swell. I don't want to see their ranks swell. But Iraq, seriously, look what's been done. It's a tragedy. And now even the conservatives are backing out. Even Buckley's saying it's a mistake. They're all backing out now. They're washing their hands of it. Fukuyama, the whole lot of them. Seriously, they're washing their hands of it because it was a mistake. The only option, get out. It's as simple as that. And we should be supporting that. We should be supporting anybody that's supporting that. We want to see Commerce with mutual agreement. That's what we want. That's that should be our platform. It's not a political platform. It's a moral